Good morning, and thank you very much for joining us. Hope you had a great weekend. And it was the weekend, in fact, that we got, well, depends on how you look at it, some would say rude news. Now I'm talking about Allen Onyema, CEO of Air Peace. And the news came through on the weekend, over the weekend, that in the U.S. he had been indicted for a very serious crime, namely money laundering. In fact, an arrest for his, a warrant for his arrest had been issued. And then, as if that wasn't enough, we hear that Canada has subsequently also put out its own notice that it's also looking for Mr. Onyema. Not that, I don't know. Well, we'll learn more about it, but maybe one or two banks involved in this alleged money laundering scam were in Canada. And so Canada got in on the act and has also put out its notice. But as I say, it was rude news because Mr. Onyema came to national attention, perhaps for most, when he stepped in the whole, xenophobia episode in South Africa, and had put forward one of his planes, one of his company's planes, Air Peace, to bring back any Nigerian willing to come home gratis. And he got high commendation for that. It was even said that, jokingly, of course, that the guy nearly got a national honor. Indeed, he might indeed have got one. Well, I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't prejudge the matter. He might still get it. But it's worrying news. And I think the important thing here is that it's an accusation, no matter how bad it sounds, I guess. And I'm going to check with Barrister Shitu, my guest, Wahab Shitu, lawyer and lecturer at University of Lagos, and an EFCC lawyer. And by the way, let me just quickly add that, the EFCC locally has said that it is also going to get in on the act to find out what exactly is going on. Now, I was saying, before I interrupted myself, that Barrister Wahab Shitu, in addition to, being a teacher and a lawyer, he's also an EFCC lawyer, but he's not here speaking for EFCC.
Yes,
Am I correct about that?
I'm not speaking for EFCC.
Okay.
And I must say that I've not been asked to even speak for EFCC.
Aha.
So I will not be competent to speak for EFCC. But my association with EFCC as one of its leading prosecuting counsel remains very, very intact.
Okay.
But on this topic, I'm here as a lawyer.
Yeah.
I'm here as a citizen of Nigeria,
Indeed.
who is also following events locally and internationally.
Indeed. Thank you very much for that clarification. As far as I was concerned, these are lawyerly matters. And I asked the producers to please see if Barrister Wahab Shitu is in town. I just hope he's in town because it's a lawyerly issue and I want to get a lawyerly kind of explanation, dissertation too. So to start from the beginning, this has been put out as an indictment. First of all, what is an indictment?
Well, the word indictment, if you check the dictionary, is when somebody is to be formally charged for a criminal offense.
Okay.
Arising from investigation which has disclosed some prima facie evidence of involvement in alleged commission of a crime.
Okay.
So when you are indicted, it's a very serious
because an
offense. An indictment is not a conclusive. It's not conclusive of guilt, but it's a real prospect that indeed you have a case to answer.
Okay.
Which will be determined, the veracity of which will be determined by a court of competent jurisdiction.
Okay, and there's even danger as the story goes. Most Nigerians have read this story already, so most of them know the details of it. Over $20 million, reportedly belonging to Mr. Onyema is, in danger of being, confiscated. But I get ahead of myself. I need to say also, in introducing this subject, that in the U.S., Mr. Onyema, CEO of Air Peace, has been indicted. But as soon as Mr. Onyema heard about it, he was shocked. And he said he just didn't know where this was coming from. This isn't him. He's never done a wrong thing in those lines. This whole matter of money laundering. He's never done that in his life. And every single payment that he has made has been through the Central Bank of Nigeria. Long story short, he's been very, very careful to be above board in all the things that he's doing as concerns his business. The U.S., for its part, has said that, look, don't worry about people clothing themselves in the toga of international businessmen. We know how to separate the wheat from the chaff, and we're not going to let it happen. So you have totally opposite sides to the same story. How does that grab you, Barrister Shitu? Is that to be expected?
Thank you. I think in offering commentaries on this subject, I like the way you have started. We have to be very, very careful. Careful in the sense that we are dealing with a Nigerian national. We're also dealing with reputation. We're also dealing with sovereignty of a state, and then the criminal laws of a foreign state.
Okay.
Now, as regards being very careful, because EFCC has also gotten into the matter, so it will not be fair to begin to prejudge anyone at this stage until the outcome of investigations. And you know, when EFCC decides to investigate any matter, it does a thorough job, particularly under Magu-led EFCC.
Okay.
It's a serious matter. So, but anyway, let's even leave that. Let's go from the beginning.
Yes.
The beginning is that U.S. has indicted Mr. Onyema.
And you've given me the impression that indictments are not spontaneous affairs.
Yes. No, it's
investigations.
Arising from some kind of painstaking investigation under the U.S. law. And U.S. has now come forward to say, oh, he's now been formally indicted. If I were lawyers to Onyema, I would take such an indictment very seriously. I will not waive such an indictment. I will not just say, no, dismiss it with a wave of hand.
No. Okay.
Because we are talking of U.S., the leading democracy in the world, with its own peculiar laws and its own institutions for investigating crimes. Now, U.S. will not come out to say anyone, for that matter, is indicted without being sure. Because U.S. is aware of its obligations under international law. And the need not to also disparage the reputations of individuals. So, from the perspective of the U.S., Mr. Onyema stands indicted. The option open to Mr. Onyema is to go back to the U.S. And clear his name.
And by the way, we're saying Mr. Onyema, because he is the CEO, he's the head honcho.
Yes.
But there's also a lady that's been charged along or indicted along with him.
Yes.
I think he's head of administration.
I think one Egaga.
Egaga.
Has also been. So,
and both of them say that their lawyers are on the case.
No, they need to go and clear it.
That their lawyers are on the case. Well,
Speaking for me,
Mr. Onyema said he's more than willing to defend his innocence, as he put it.
Speaking for me as an individual, without prejudice towards the indictment or whatever, I am a Nigerian who, before this development, or in spite of this development, has a lot of sympathy for Mr. Onyema.
Okay.
Arising from his activities lately. The xenophobia intervention. A single Nigerian coming.
His nationalistic intervention.
Yes. So I see him as a Nigerian. So Nigeria has to approach this issue from the legal and then the diplomatic perspective, angle.
Okay.
Now, ensuring that the fundamental rights of Mr. Onyema is fully respected. His right to fair hearing is also fully respected. But you know that money laundering is not a local affair. It's an international crime. When we are talking of laundering, and then we need to know, what do we mean by money laundering?
What do we mean by money laundering?
Money laundering...
Let me come back to you and just get a full version of your impressions on money laundering, what it is. But before then, give you a report that we've put out already that sort of wraps the story up in a nutshell.
Chairman Airpeace Airlines has denied 27 counts of money laundering charges, but this lawyer seems not to agree with him. With the charges coming from the combined efforts of the U.S. government agencies such as the U.S. Attorney General's Office and Internal Revenue Service Criminal Investigation Division, they are not just mere allegations.
I see these allegations as weighty. They said money laundering, attempt to commit fraud and all those things. They are too much to me. Especially seeing that the person is also a contributor to the Nigerian economy. He has employed Nigerians. What do you want those that he had engaged and those who see these people as his worker? What do you want them to think about him? Those are the implications of what we have seen.
The source of the funds is part of the crux of the matter. Using falsified documents in the process to purchase aircraft allegedly came from the bank accounts of NGOs controlled by Mr. Onyema and not aviation-related companies.
All you need to do to commit the offense of money laundering is not elaborate. You can commit it even without you knowing. But the truth of the matter is that once a law exists, whether in Nigeria or abroad, we should be ready to live by the law.
While we wait for the indictment of the case to involve, the image of the Nigerian businessman continues to be battered even before his guilt or innocence is established.
Well, so there you are, in a nutshell. And indeed, the way that report ended is one of the more unfortunate aspects of this, in that, look, it's an indictment, as you've said. His guilt hasn't been proven, even though the charge is formal, which means that they're going to be quite businesslike and serious about it. But for all of that, he still has not been found guilty. But such is the nature of these things. His reputation might have taken a hit. Again, it might not have. But let me go back to where we left off. What exactly is money laundering?
Okay, before I even answer that,
Sure.
It is not only his reputation that is at stake right now, because the allegation is coming from the U.S. The reputation of Nigeria as a country is also at stake.
Indeed, because as the report was alluding to, that's not the first time in recent memory. There's the other Forbes' youngest billionaire kind of a thing that turned out to be, it just became a fluke.
You know that money laundering is in the is in the category of offenses that is adjudged to be crime against humanity. You understand me? They
Really?
are,
Really?
Yes.
Oh, money
They are
laundering?
international crimes.
Okay.
Money laundering is international crime. Genocide is international crime.
Okay. Oh, you can't have money laundering locally. Technically, the definition wouldn't fit.
Yeah.
A person can't be accused of money laundering if all his activities were in Nigeria and within Nigeria.
No, it can.
Oh,
It
okay.
can. It
Okay.
can. It can.
Okay.
I
But
think
you made the point that it's an international
Yeah,
crime.
I mean the way it is. I mean there are international instruments,
okay.
international, treaties regulating this offense. So which means if you commit money laundering anywhere in the world,
Yeah, okay.
You
You
can be
you're
brought
meant to
to
be of interest. to
yes,
the
it's
law
of
enforcement.
interest to all countries of the world. In fact, countries are encouraged to put in place legal mechanisms to reduce incidents of money laundering. Because, what is another word for money laundering? Another word for money laundering is dirty money. Dirty money.
In that you're concealing
Money
sources.
that is of questionable origin,
Okay.
that is now deployed into supposedly lawful activities in order to conceal the origin of
That's
the
where
money.
the word laundering
So
comes in.
yes, for instance,
It's like you try to wash it.
if you're engaged in drugs, illicit drugs, and then you arise the proceeds you get from it, you now use it to open a supermarket
And then you're bringing in goods legitimately.
legitimately. That is money laundering. So the long and short of it is a sophisticated form of stealing. Dirty money. In other words, money that should pass through financial institutions should be clean money. Money arising from lawful activities, not unlawful activities. So when you launder funds, maybe, and it is of interest to policymakers and every country, because it is launder funds that is used to fund terrorist activities.
Yeah.
Laundered funds that is used to commit all manner of international crimes.
I imagine you can even get political crimes. Everything comes from money. From money
From
laundering.
money laundering. So it's viewed in the international. So that the fact that in Nigeria is mentioned, a Nigerian of substance.
Okay.
Because in the country today, Air Peace is one of the leading,
That's right.
if not leading airlines. And in fact, recently they have also added some other routes into their fleet. They are going to Dubai, going to some of the international countries. And when you fly Air Peace, you derive some kind of maximum comfort. And you see that every day they are flying all over. They are reaching out locally and internationally, which is a sense of pride, coming, as it were, from the perspective that our Nigerian Airways collapse.
Yes.
So if you have a private initiative trying to, show up our image in the aviation industry, it's something to be applauded, but not at the expense of our reputation, not at the expense of the integrity of the Nigerian nation. So that is why Nigeria must take what is going on seriously. Again, in offering this commentary, what I want to say as a prosecutor is that Nigerians should have an open mind, in spite of the indictment in the US to Mr. Onyema, because as it is now, it's still presumed innocent.
Because after all said and done, it's an accusation. It's a formal charge.
Yes, and we should also be interested in providing all avenues that will ensure that he gets a fair trial. But the option for Mr. Onyema is not to run away from trial.
No, well, he has said
I'm
that
saying,
he's prepared to defend his innocence.
Yes, he should
so
go.
That's encouraging.
Yeah, that's very encouraging.
That he feels that there's a mistake somewhere.
Yes.
And he's not running away.
He wants to clear
he wants his day in court.
I'm interested, particularly because Mr. Onyema too is a colleague. He's a lawyer.
He is.
He's a lawyer. I know him very well. He's a lawyer. So as a lawyer, you're more interested in his reputation. Because the greatest commodity that we sell as a professional, or as a lawyer, or as any human being, is your reputation. If you remove reputation from any individual, what you have remaining is an empty shell. So what is of paramount importance at this stage is for him to confront his U.S. accusers. He has surrendered himself and say, okay, I'm ready to face my trial. I'm ready to clear my name. That should be the approach. And for us, well, again, I'm also happy that EFCC is looking at it.
Now, first of all, when the news first broke, the commentary we were getting locally was that, well, yeah, we heard it in the news too, but we don't go by those things. Countries have a way of relating with each other. And I think the impression was given that no formal notice had been served either to the Attorney General's office or to the EFCC, but I saw that all of that had changed subsequently when the EFCC now said that, indeed, we have, I don't know if it is that they had received a petition, but I'm sure EFCC would not have acted over articles in a newspaper.
Again, let me also make clarification. EFCC does not need to wait for a petition to act. EFCC acts sometimes on the basis of intelligence.
Okay.
And EFCC acts very discreetly. They will begin to look into financial records of companies that are linked to all those who are involved in this allegation. And I imagine that some form of effective and efficient, discreet investigations are going on.
So EFCC can be a self-starter, contrary to what people say
that you have to initiate the petition. No,
yes,
you don't need to initiate the petition.
If they don't see a petition, they can't act. Or if the presidency, so it is thought, doesn't set them on you. Nothing like that.
EFCC is an independent body that is created by statute to investigate all forms of financial and economic crimes. And they do so, they can do so suo motu, on their own, on the basis of it. They have intelligence all over the place. EFCC is watching you, Mr.
Mike.
EFCC is watching me.
There you go.
Everybody's on their watch by EFCC.
It's part of the job.
Yes.
They've got to keep an eye out.
They monitor accounts, they monitor transactions, they monitor movements of cash.
As for monitoring accounts, I wish them luck there.
But the point that we are making is that nobody is above the law. Yeah. I, as EFCC prosecutor, is even more vulnerable.
Of course.
I should be careful because even my own punishment will be higher if I'm found to be involved in economic and financial crimes. So the point we are making is that nobody is above the law.
Indeed. And I think the U.S., after all, the U.S. president is what? Yes. He's going through an impeachment hearing right now. Yeah.
And so it's a salutary thing. And I don't think we should give any kind of coloration into this. We should not introduce ethnicity into this.
No.
We should not introduce politics into this or religion into this. The question we should ask is, does Mr. Onyema, does he have a case to answer?
That is the question.
If he does not have a case to answer, it's let loose.
Well, as far as Mr. Onyema is concerned, I think we've heard already that he doesn't know where this came from.
Oh, okay.
He doesn't know where all of this is coming from.
Then
in fact, the word strange was used. That this is strange.
So I've always encouraged people that if you are invited by law enforcement agencies, by EFCC, anti-graft agencies and all that, and you know that your hands are clean, surrender yourself for investigation.
Exactly.
You don't need to run away from anybody. Well, go there and then say, this is it.
Yes.
I'm here. So the option open to Mr. Onyema is for him to go to the US. Yes, I'm here. He should not wait for him for himself to be extradited.
Okay. Now that the U.S. has put out this indictment, and we have heard about it through the news, EFCC, maybe Attorney General's office has heard about it through maybe the proper channels, and as you are saying, the best thing is to go off to the U.S. to sort himself out.
To clear himself. All these.
But how about locally? This is you've just said it touches on our reputation, our national reputation, our integrity. In Nigeria, because no charge was raised in Nigeria, what is the situation? Is it that, well, he's not seen by law enforcement, so to speak? They would take due notice.
You see, EFCC does not proceed against anybody without a prima facie case being established against the person.
Okay.
There's nobody.
Please, sir, just quickly, crack that prima facie.
Prima facie case is that there must be some kind of allegation. There must be some basis for proceeding against you.
Probable cause.
Probable cause. Reasonable cause. EFCC does not just punch on anybody. Because EFCC as an organization is subject to law. If EFCC punches on anybody without any justifiable grounds, such a person has an obligation to sue EFCC. EFCC is not immune from the law. All organizations, all statutory bodies are subject to law.
Yeah.
So EFCC will not proceed against you if they don't have a substance.
So and I'm just trying to understand the way it works, because now a nation has spoken about one of our nationals.
Yes.
It's not the most complimentary of things, and our people are watching. In fact, I don't know how much that counts. A special assistant to the president was saying on her Twitter account that the U.S. only goes against those who break its rules. Now, I don't know how much that counts, but I don't know if I.
Well, I read the commentary, but I would have been more comfortable if the release had limited itself to say, no, Mr. Onyema, you have been indicted in the U.S. Go and clear your name.
Exactly, because the way it was put, the way she put it, it's like she'd accepted some of it.
We have a responsibility to ensure that we deliver as a country in terms of our international obligations.
Okay.
Because if we are seen to be complacent, in spite of what this indictment, if EFCC is not acting, I'm happy EFCC is already acting. Yeah. And that's why we should salute the courage of the Magu-led EFCC.
Okay.
And they are always proactive. Once issues break, look at what they did during the P&ID attempt to smear the image of Nigeria. So you understand me? Because the image of the country is also at stake, and we also have anti-money laundering laws here. And some of these transactions, the origin could, is allegedly traced from Nigeria to the UK. United States of America. Nigeria has a duty to also investigate and turn out his findings. And I believe they are doing so discreetly.
Now, again, we have to be, the way we're talking about this, we have to be skirting the issues, because as we know and as you've said, first of all, we don't need to prejudice the case in any way, shape, or form. At all. We are emphasizing and re-emphasizing that it's an indictment.
I will be the first person to insist that the fundamental rights of Mr. Onyema should be guaranteed. That fair hearing should be delivered to Mr. Onyema. And Nigeria must also ensure this is done. But it is without prejudice to the need to get to the bottom of the matter.
Indeed. So we said that an indictment is a formal charge of criminal offense.
Arising from outcome of investigation.
Investigation must have, part of it. Yes, there must have been investigation.
The investigation must have, shown that there's a ground for proceeding.
Indeed. Otherwise, they wouldn't have proceeded.
A prima facie case.
Mentioning names. And being very specific, Mr. Onyema and his head of administration,
don't forget that if at the end of the day, U.S. indictment is found to be false or to have lacked basis, Mr. Onyema is entitled to exemplary and aggravated damages against the U.S. So you see, it's a two-way. When you accuse somebody rightly, there are consequences. When you accuse somebody wrongly, there are also consequences. So the law protects everybody.
Okay. Okay, good morning. Do I have Osadua in Australia? Did I get that right?
Osazuwa, O-S-A-Z-U-W-A.
Oh, Osazuwa. Good morning, sir. Thank you for calling in.
Yes, yes. Good morning, sir. Well
Okay.
done, sir. Yeah, I regularly follow your program. I just saw this subject I've been seeing online.
Yeah.
And I said, let me add my voice. I really want to get clarification. How does this work? Because airpeace has been around for some time, though Onyema is not really known as airpeace was known, but after this South Africa issue, I think that was when he came into prominence, and all of a sudden this came out. Now, no justification for crime, whatever it is, whether money laundering or whatever. But my point is, why is this issue just coming up? Why is it that is when, I don't know how to put it, this matter just came when the man came into prominence. Is it now, is this, can we now see this as witch hunting, or are we saying there are nobody with legitimate funds anymore in Nigeria? Because whoever they've been searchlights on, something criminal must be about around that person in Nigeria. What's the problem? What's our issue? Because I don't know. I'm not saying this guy is innocent. My point now is, if he's found guilty, it means that we don't have anybody with legitimate funds in Nigeria anymore. That's what the implication is now, because this epic has been around, no issues all this while, and all of a sudden the man came into prominence, now issues. And like the woman, the special whatever to
Mrs.
Wally
Agaga.
said that
Okay,
there must be criminal
Onoshe.
issue and all that.
Onoshe.
Yeah, so yeah, exactly. So what's the why is this just coming up? Why not now? Why not before now? He did this not yesterday. He did it perhaps at the beginning of the establishment around 2012, 2013, whatever it is.
Okay.
Why is it just coming up now?
Okay.
That's my question. I need the lawyer to touch on that.
Yes, it's the lawyer who will touch on
let me use this opportunity to make this clarification once and for all. I don't think when allegations like these are raised against anybody, including me, we should then begin to look at look at motives. There are always motives why a state will proceed against anybody. So you understand me? It might be criminal motive to punish the commission of a crime. It might be witch hunt. It might be anything. But what is important is behind that alleged witch hunt, is there a case? You understand me? Is there a case? For instance, if the state wants to witch hunt me for anything, is my hands clean?
Okay, those are the pertinent questions.
Yes, if my hands are clean, of course the attempt to witch hunt me will fail.
So, at the end of the day,
yes, I don't
is there a case?
Is there a case?
Is there a case?
Is there a case?
Okay, we're going on a commercial break. Stay with us, please. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. And we left for break trying to determine, or at least get Barrister Shitu's impression as to whether there is a case. Should that not be our main focus?
No, that should be the focus. My brother who called in was worried that why is it coming up now?
Okay. After the man has done something.
It can come up anytime.
At any time. It
can come up because time does not run against the state in criminal proceedings.
Yeah. And in any case, what if the xenophobic wahala did not happen? And therefore there was no need for airpeace to go to the rescue?
Because what is
Are you suggesting that this might not have come about?
What is important is investigation-led arrests.
Yeah.
As opposed to arrest-led investigation.
I hear you.
In the sense that investigation might have been going on for a long time before.
Exactly. That's the way these things work.
Yes. And that is what we should encourage even within our system.
Exactly.
Discreet investigation. The anti-grav agencies, police will be investigating you without you knowing. So over the years, and then when they have concluded or they have a case to prosecute, they then come out.
So the authorities in America clearly believe that they have a case worthy of prosecution. And even at that, it doesn't say Mr. Onyema is guilty yet.
Yes.
Because he has to have his but they believe that they have a case worthy of prosecution.
So what options?
And Mr. Onyema has said that he still does not understand where all this strangeness has come
beyond
from.
that. It's beyond that. What Mr. Onyema should be thinking about, and I believe as a lawyer of input, is to be preparing his defense.
His defense. Mr. George, sorry for keeping you waiting. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Yeah.
Greetings to Mr. Shitu as well.
Yes.
Thank you.
Uncle Yori, I see mischief behind this episode for 2 or 3 reasons. I don't know how much time you can give me to express myself here.
Please go ahead.
Number one, when did the current U.S. government become anti-corruption? We know that their president encourages corruption. As we speak, Uncle Yori, the president of that country is being impeached. And the Congress of America is in court with their president, for what resembles what we can call money laundering as well. He has no tax returns on his alleged wealth. That matter is in court. Why is it that the DOJ, that is the Department of Justice, cannot indict him for that? We have politicians, Nigerian politicians, who have stolen our government money for over the years, and America has not indicted any single one that I know. Is the money not floating in their economy? This man is not a public official. He's a businessman. According to the story, the allegation is that the money he used in purchasing the aircraft did not come from aviation-related sources. That he used money that emanated from the NGOs he was supposed to be running to make this transaction. What kind of charge is that? Did he steal the money from America or not? Did he steal the money wherever the money is coming from? Did he steal it from the Nigerian government or not? Those should be the issues. And I see people, since this man came to fame with that gesture he did to Nigerians being persecuted in South Africa, I see people who are either close to him or those who are jealous of him coming up with things like this in order to discredit him. I'm aware that the government is planning to give him a national award in the next league. Some people are probably not happy with this. The legislators in Nigeria have made his airline their sort of official airline. Some people may not be happy with this, but whatever it is, let the allegations be formalized by the U.S. and let this man get some lawyers to
Okay, but they have, Mr. George, they have formalized it. That's the very definition of an indictment. It's a formal charge.
Our Attorney General said he has not received anything to that effect.
Indeed, you're right.
Yes, so is it not the Attorney General
but that was about 48 hours ago.
To the public?
Okay, sir, but that was about 48 hours ago. That statement you made about the Attorney General not having had anything. Anything could have happened between then and now.
Yes, Uncle Yori, the fact that it was not Attorney General that disclosed it, but it came out from the press first, already tells me something fictitious about it.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for calling in. Now, let me take the last point that Mr. George makes first. I don't know, the U.S. has this way of putting stuff out that is coming from the Department of Justice. Once they are satisfied with their own investigations and all of that, they put it out into the public domain. And in fact, recently there was a Nigerian lady a 40-year-old Nigerian lady, I forget her name now. She was, they put it out. Somebody saw it on the public website and started posting it around social media, and a lot of people got to know about it. This is one of those kind of things. But would you address Mr. George's concern that?
Well, let me say that what Mr. George has said may be substantially true. What he has said, all those concerns he has raised, maybe some people are jealous of him, maybe some people are trying to turn it, all those things may be true. But that does not...
Those people have influence on America?
I mean, what he said, I said may.
Okay.
May.
Okay.
But that still does not answer the question whether he has a case to
whether there is a good case or not.
And that is the focus.
Because that's where everything will either stand or collapse.
Yes. You see...
sorry, sir. You're going to continue your commentary, but let me add okay. Mr. Yakub, good morning, sir.
Yeah, very good morning, sir.
Okay.
And then good morning to Mr. Awad.
Good morning.
Yeah, thanks so much.
He's Mr. Shitu. He's Mr. Shitu.
Yes, sorry. Sorry, sir. Usually, as my president has just said it now, Mr. George. You see, usually, for me, as I said, one of your the studio last topic in your field, that for me, whether the man is guilty or not, he should be able to get a lawyer. As Mr. Hart says, that he himself is a lawyer. Now that he himself is a lawyer, I think he knows the right thing to do as it is. Yes, the U.S. has already said what they say. And then the Nigerian EFCC, as I said earlier, I give kudos to Magu this time around. Every time I give kudos to this man. In fact, I'm looking forward that day that the man will be confirmed as the chairman of the EFCC. You see, to me, the man should clear its name. Whether he's guilty or not, let Nigerian citizens know. Yes, you render a service to this citizen of this country. Yes, we agree with you. You did the right thing, you do well. It is only you and some other people can do such. But that does not mean that you should be able to do something illegally. We are not, yes, it's alleged, but let him clear its name. So that it can be able to have more silver, more gold to its name. So if it can be able to clear its name on this rock, I can tell you, the Nigerian government, we Nigerian citizens will be more proud of that guy.
Indeed.
But if it does not, I think it is not good for this Nigerian.
One moment, just before you go, I don't know if you agree with Mr. Shitu that the most important aspect of all of this is the determination of whether or not there is a case, whether or not he has a case to answer. Matters of jealousy, matters of bad mind, and all of those ethnicities, they have their place, no doubt. But is there a case?
Chief Justice, I may be stand to be corrected. Whether it is jealous, whether he has case or not, but we all believe. See, let me give you a simple example here. When we are dealing with issues in this country, we always refer it to US, UK, and other developed countries. I can tell you, as I said earlier, in the other program, that I don't think US states can call, the United States of America can come out and allege you unfortunately. I'm a stand to be corrected.
Oh, you don't think, could I hear that correctly? You personally don't think the U.S. can come out and make a false allegation? Is that what you just said?
Yes, that is my thought, but I would like the man to clear it because if it come out that their false allegation, that allegation is false, the man can be able to sue them as well. So you understand what I'm saying now? So that the Nigerian citizen will be proud of this guy.
Okay.
So one thing I say is this: if you go on, get a lawyer, fix them upright, and then let the Nigerian citizens follow that case. And then everywhere you go, we will be able to have our conclusion in this studio. Come next time. Thank you and God bless you.
Thank you, Yaku.
Let me
Yes, sir.
summarize my thoughts by saying,
Yes.
well, yes, we commend Mr. Allen Onyema for the role he played in airlifting Nigerians from South Africa in the wake of the xenophobia attack. That was a commendable thing. We also commend Mr. Onyema for setting up air peace and employing millions of Nigerians. A lot of Nigerians, and then, solving our aviation, being part of the solution to our aviation problem. Those are commendable acts. But we insist, in spite of this, that he should go and clear his name on money laundering charges.
Okay.
Because he's a lawyer, no one is above the law. An indictment from the U.S. is not something that should be taken with levity. It's not something that affects him as a person alone. It also affects me. It affects you.
It does.
It affects all Nigerians. Okay. It affects the image of the country.
So he has the duty.
So he has a duty to go and clear his name. Okay. EFCC also has a duty to conclude the investigation and come out with their findings.
Indeed.
And then we need to commend EFCC, led by Magu, for the job they are doing.
Okay. Lanre in the UK, good morning, sir. Is there anybody at the other end? Lanre in the UK, good morning. Oh.
So,
we thought there was someone at the other end. Lanre, you can't hear us. Final. Okay.
So we should look at all this. We should holistically.
you see, I like this. The AFCC has gotten in on the act. It said it is conducting its own investigations. You commended them for that. What if their own investigations are at variance with the facts as stated by the U.S.?
You see, there are two jurisdictions here. We have Nigeria is a sovereign country. U.S. is a sovereign country. We cannot interfere with their domestic, with the internal processes there.
Okay.
We cannot use our own system here to indict their own system. They have their basis for the indictment. So if Mr. Onyema wants to clear his name, he has to go to the U.S.
Okay, he has to go to the U.S.
He has to be tried.
He has to be tried in the U.S.
In the U.S. That one is separate and independent from our own trial. You will recall the Ibori case.
Yes.
Ibori was exonerated here, but he was
indeed.
Yes.
Mazi Okorafor, good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, Vice President. Our guests in the studio.
Yes.
Thank you.
Honestly speaking, sir, this issue of Allen Onyema, why is the issue coming up now after the humanitarian service to Nigeria? To me, there is nothing wrong for this issue from U.S. That what I would just suggest to the authority concerned, the U.S. government authority, should help us as a country publish the documents from page 1 to the last page, so that the people in this country at least have a clear glimpse of the whole story.
Mazi, forgive me for interrupting you, but it is out there. They have provided the full detailed indictment. I think it runs to about, if I'm not mistaken, between 20 and 30 pages. It's out there. In fact, one paper, published it.
That's outside Nigeria now. Is it in Nigeria?
No. It's coming from the DOJ. The DOJ's written formal indictment, if that's what you meant. It is available out there. It's about 20, 30 pages.
But at least we have media houses now here in Nigeria now. We are discussing this issue in Nigeria. We are not in U.S.
Okay. But
at least such publications
the point I'm making,
to Nigeria.
sir. The point I'm making, sir, is that I read it in a Nigerian paper.
No, sir.
I think it was the Punch. I think it.
The Punch and the Nation today ran a story on it.
They ran stories, but beyond the stories, the full, unedited, because of questions such as you are bringing up, the full unedited indictment is actually out there.
Now you see the issue of this indictment and not indictment is this. Nigeria as a country, if anything of this magnitude comes from that, there is nothing wrong for the person concerned to go and defend himself for that. At least you go with your lawyers.
Okay, yeah.
That is the normal thing, because the issue is this. When you have made a name, when an issue like this comes up now and it's not clear, it's still indicting that person.
It does.
You don't have credibility again. That is the issue. That is why in business, whatever you are doing, you have to be straightforward and clear. So that before anything will happen, you have to be very, very careful. So that it will not go. Because the money you spend in clearing yourself is more than what you could have benefited. That is what. Now, there's something the Nigerian government should follow sequentially, where they can come in and assist, let him go there and defend himself, because it will help him and help the business. Because instead of this issue of money laundering, this and that, scam, this and that, is getting out of proportion. That means if you watch well now, you see what's happening now in American the Democratic State. The Democrats, the 8th richest person in America, appeared over the weekend that is contesting for the presidential race of United States of American government. Now you have seen the shake of them. People are coming with stories that has to do with the 8th person that is in America. Coming up other Democrats. And this is another challenger to Biden that is already coming up with Trump's issue of this impeachment saga in the U.S. National Assembly. So these are the issues. So there's nothing wrong. If America can have such a tough and strong impeachment saga that's going on now in America, there's nothing wrong with Nigerian government for the young man to go there and defend himself, because it's a hot seat and a hot cake. What is happening there is also reasonable here in Nigeria. Thank you very much. Have a blessed day in Lagos.
Thank you, Mazi. And he isn't, Mr. Onyema isn't a public servant. If he were, I imagine it would go without saying, or we would call for him to step aside for the duration of this whole saga so that he can be investigated unimpeded.
Well, that would be the most honorable thing to do for a public officer.
For a public officer
who has been indicted, is
Yes.
to step aside
Yes.
until the outcome of the investigation clears you.
But this is
For
a
being
different
a
scenario.
private businessman, what is also honorable for him to do is to go and clear his name.
Indeed.
To go and clear his name.
It's-
And my own view about these issues is that I have an open mind at this stage. I'm not prejudging him. I don't believe he's guilty. I don't believe he's innocent.
Exactly.
Yes,
and that's the point that we must be scrupulous
I
about.
have a free mind, an open mind towards the issue. But I'm convinced that he should go and clear his name.
That's the only
I'm
thing.
also convinced that we should not stigmatize him at this stage.
Well, you see, there's a problem. I agree with you, and all right-thinking members of society will agree with you. But the very, the very release of the indictment.
But the indictment has really
it's a problem.
Yes.
The indictment.
So because of that stigma, he has to go and clear his name.
So he has to.
He has to go.
And that will then make
I've
everything
seen all
right.
kinds of-
That will make everything right. If he can.
I've seen all kinds of conjectures
Of course.
in the marketplace.
But-
Some people saying money belonging to Amnesty International.
Yeah. All of that is in
program
there.
is involved, that is being victimized, all those kind of things.
Yeah.
I think we should not focus on that.
No.
We should focus on whether there's a case. Is there a case against Mr. Onyema in the U.S.?
Indeed.
If there is a case, you should go and answer it. If there's no case, then the man's reputation should remain intact.
In terms of all these, as the English would call it, old wives' tales, one has even heard that, he changed his decision to buy, aircraft from the U.S., went out to, was it Europe or Brazil, and decided on there, and as a result of that, the U.S. is now hounding. No,
I don't want.
as you said, there are all sorts of conjecture
yes.
online.
Yes.
But the important thing is, I think what you said, one, the determination of whether or not there is a case. America thinks there is a case. Well, EFCC is looking into the matter. They'll come up with.
And I think one thing which is also important is that the Justice Department of the U.S. is not a court of law.
Sorry.
It's not a court of law.
The Department of Justice.
Yes.
Yes.
It's not a court. It's an investigative body that has come out with these findings.
The Department of Justice, isn't that like our own Ministry of Justice?
Yes. It's not a court of law.
Miriam is calling in from Apapa. Why did you drop the call as soon as I was announcing your name? I know you didn't do that intentionally. Miriam, let me see if you can get back in again. I hope you can. Miriam from Apapa wanted to contribute to this conversation. I'm sorry, technology dropped you. We want to talk with you. Yes, so when...
It's not a court of law. They are still going to arraign if indeed they want to proceed. Mr. Onyema, formally in the court of law in the U.S.
So that's why in fact, they've put a warrant out for his arrest, but they can't take a plane, fly into Murtala Mohammed, put him in shackles, and then go back
No, that's
home.
also easy. If there's a warrant, an international warrant for his arrest, he can be executed by Interpol.
Oh,
anywhere.
Okay.
Anywhere.
I didn't know that.
The world has become an a global bedroom.
Never mind village.
No village. It's global bedroom.
So
there is no escape route for anybody accused of any international crime.
Indeed, because Interpol will get in on
Yes.
the act. And
we should not wait until that. He should voluntarily surrender himself.
Because it's getting messier.
Yes,
I mean, it started out with the U.S. It started out with the U.S., America putting this indictment on the table. Now Canada gets in on the act.
Yes.
And
Interpol will have been sensitized already.
Yeah, now I'm sure.
And I don't want that to even impact on the operations of Airpeace.
Felix in Warri, good morning, sir.
Yeah, morning.
Okay, good morning. Go ahead, please. What's your comment?
Yeah, my comment is that this is a very celebrated case, and the lecturer has stated, the man has a reputation. The integrity of the man is at stake. The sovereignty of Nigeria should be respected. Let me toe Wahab line. Is there a case? Because we should address that issue. If the man does not have a case, fine. If he has a case, he should go there and clear his name. He has a plane. Let him take lawyers and go to the U.S. Say, I am here. Confront me with the facts. then let me clear myself.
Okay. Yeah.
Like the lawyer said, if he does not have a case, he can sue the FBI or the U.S. government.
If they don't
and
have a
claim
case.
damages.
If
Yes, if he does not
they
have a case.
don't have a case, and
Yeah.
if that is the case, you can depend on the courts in America to strike the matter out. You know, say no case.
No case.
No. Although I hear more often here no case submissions when a lawyer is looking for that particular end. So they say the lawyer would have made a no case submission. Is it the same?
Well, yeah, when the prosecution presents its case in the trial process, and the defense considers what the prosecution has presented to be worthless, it comes out with an application of no case submission.
Okay.
And the court will look at the evidence, evaluate it, and if there's no case, the court will just
court will strike it out.
ask them to go home.
So I want to thank you very much, Mr.
My
Wahab
pleasure, my
Shitu,
pleasure.
you know, especially for setting us on the straight and narrow. That look, we mustn't arrive at a conclusion
Yes.
one way or the other.
Yes.
But the thing is to determine whether or not there is a case. And happily, Mr. Onyema himself is a lawyer, so he knows the law.
He knows the ground.
And he has said, as has Mrs. Egaga, that their lawyers are on it already.
Okay.
So they know what to do. And I suppose the only thing we can do is just wait. And just like you said, you are waiting on the outcome of the EFCC investigation.
Yes.
The rest of us can also just wait on how this resolves itself.
Please,
Thank you very much, Mr.
pleasure,
Shitu.
sir.
So that's our program today. Please join us tomorrow for a fresh edition. I am Yori Folani. Bye-bye for now.